Good afternoon and welcome to our Linked Over Lunch webinar, a collaborative presentation of the Federation for Children with Special Needs and the Link Center. My name is Jennifer Stewart and I'm the project coordinator for the Link Center. I want to thank our technical producer, John Sullivan, for helping us put this webinar together today. This webinar is 30 minutes to have you easily access the information over your lunch break. Please type your questions into the toolbox. We will leave time at the end to address your questions. If your question is not answered live, please send us an email and we will do our best to follow up with you. Today's webinar is Social Security Benefits and Employment for Students in Transition from School to Adult Life. Our presenter is Kathy Kelly, a student benefits counselor with Project Impact, a program of Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Jennifer. This is an exciting time for high school students to begin exploring employment. We now know that more young persons that have opportunities to try working, the more they will be prepared for life after high school. And because of the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, better known as WEAHOO, adult agencies such as MRC can work with students while they're still in high school. Many students with disabilities receive public benefits such as Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, and oftentimes they've worked very hard to get these benefits and don't want to lose them. Some people receiving these benefits are afraid of working because they believe that they'll lose their SSI and their Medicaid. That is simply untrue, and I will explain why in this webinar. So we'd like to hold all questions until I finish, and we'd like the questions, if you could, be general in nature. If you have more specific questions related to your current situation, then I'll be happy to speak with you through email or by phone. So let's get started. Working with public benefits. So what is Supplemental Security Income? SSI provides financial and health care assistance to individuals who have a disability and have limited income and resources. To be eligible for SSI, you must be disabled, you must be low income, and your assets or resources must be limited to $2,000. If you're under 18, your parent resources are counted for students. So to be eligible to receive SSI, it's based on the disability, and they cannot have $2,000 in resources. And I already mentioned, if the child is under 18, their parent's income is considered deeming. So when the child turns 18, there's some changes related to the 18th birthday. When an SSI beneficiary turns 18, Social Security considers them to be adults. Eligibility for SSI must be redetermined using the adult eligibility criteria. Adulthood means the end of parental guardianship. A rep payee, or representative payee, may be needed to be appointed to manage the SI payments. There are work incentives to help young people explore employment. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Student Earned Income Exclusion. Student beneficiaries under the age of 22 who regularly attend high school or school can work and earn up to $1,780 per month, up to a maximum of annual exclusion of $7,180, without any of those earnings being countable. Student Earned Income Exclusion qualifications are: they need to be in grades 7 through 12, attending at least 12 hours per week, in college or university for at least 8 hours a week, or in a skills training program to prepare for a paying job for at least 12 to 15 hours per week. Examples of these may be Job Corps, a government-supported course in self-improvement. There are other types of students that are considered for the SEIE, or the Student Earned Income Exclusion. Those would be homeschooled students, students who are medically homebound, or even online schooling now, which has become very popular. The important thing to remember is the Student Earned Income Exclusion is not automatic and must be requested in writing and approved. There are some other incentives for working. The first one is the Impairment-Related Work Expense, or IRWE. You can be eligible for certain impairment-related items that are needed for your work. Some examples include medicine, medical supplies, medical devices, service animals, and disposable items such as bandages and syringes. Some attendant care services or certain transportation services needed to work. These items or services cannot be reimbursed by another source such as Mass Health and need to be approved by the Social Security Administration. you need to contact them directly for additional information. Another incentive is the Plan for Achieving Self-Support, or PASS. A PASS plan allows a beneficiary to set aside income or resources to accomplish a goal. A PASS plan may be used for educational expenses, modifications, etc. It must be approved by Social Security, and self-sufficiency must be a reasonable outcome. You can work and still get benefits, and I'm going to talk about how. So this is how Social Security Administration determines the check amount that you'll receive. What they do is they take the first $85, $65 in earned income, and $20 in unearned income, and then they take that off the top of your gross income, and then $1 will be subtracted from SSI check every $2 earned over 85. Let's look at this example. Let's say, for example, John earns $885 a month from work and receives $847.39 from SSI. So we're going to take John's gross earnings of $885. We're going to exclude the $85 I just spoke about, and that brings it down to $800. Then they cut the $800 in half, and $400 will be John's new countable income. So I mentioned that John receives $847.39 every month. We'll take that $400 off of the countable income, and his new check will be $447.39. However, his total monthly gross income is higher. So his new check is $447.39, and then we add his gross income, bringing his total gross monthly income to $1,232.39. So his income before working was $847.39, and his income after working is $1,232.39. You're always going to make more money. There's some other benefits that you want to consider when a young person is entering the adult system. And also, those are federal public housing benefits, Section 8 housing choice vouchers, state public housing, and SNAP and food stamps. Housing costs should not increase when you're working in a training program. Rent freezes are available. I'm going to talk a little bit about student benefits counseling. MRC has hired 3 student benefits counselors to work throughout the state. So there's one in your area that you can access. We can assist you in understanding how to work and still receive cash and non-cash benefits. We can help you to plan for self-sufficiency and independence, and we can help you to navigate the public benefits system. I've included some helpful links, I think, for those who need information on applying. Important to note is that if you're applying for Title II or disability insurance, that can be done online. But if you're applying for SSI, that needs to be done in person. And this is a helpful link, the Navigate app. It'll tell you everything you need to know before you go in to apply. The better you're prepared to go in to apply, the more likely you'll be to be approved. And I can't say enough how important it is to keep all records, if you're already receiving benefits, to keep all records of communication that you have with Social Security, all email, all receipts, all pay stubs, and have those ready whenever you speak with them or you visit the Social Security office. As a student benefits counselor, we're going to be able to meet with you individually and answer your specific questions for your loved one's benefit. And what we'll do is we'll meet with you, we'll look at your information, and we'll write a benefits plan that you'll have access to, and we'll be available to meet with you on an ongoing basis. A way you can reach us, there's 2 ways you can reach us. You can reach us through the 1-800 number for Project Impact, and that's a line that they'll put, if you call on that line, they'll put you in touch with a student benefits counselor in your area. You can also reach me directly. I'm in the North region, which is the North Shore out as far as Fitchburg and Framingham, and my number and email is below. Just so if you don't already know about WEAHOO, WEAHOO is a federal act that was signed into law in 2014, and it presents an extraordinary opportunity to improve job and career opportunities for our nation's workers and job seekers. And for our youth, 20% of the local formula funds must be for work experience such as a summer or year-round employment, pre-apprenticeship, on-job training, or internships and job shadowing. So with all our young people out there exploring employment, we really want them to understand how benefits are impacted by these employment opportunities. I'd be happy to take some questions.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy just provided a lot of information about Social Security, benefits, and employment. If you have any questions, please type them into the question box, and we'll take some questions. In the meantime, I will just say that our next Linked Over Lunch webinar is August 25th from 12 to 12:30, and it will also be talking about legal rights related to vocational rehabilitation services at MRC. We're having Ted Milo from the Client Assistance Program at the Massachusetts Office on Disability come to speak to us, along with a consumer and their mother to share their story. I have a question. So one of the questions for you, Kathy, is somebody who's saying, I have a high school senior who's planning to go to a transition program. Can he get SSI to pay for that program?
That's an individualized question. The options I'm thinking about are the PASS program that I mentioned briefly. I would, however, have to know your individual circumstance, how much your son is receiving. I can do that if you want to contact me. Sign a release form or two. I'll send it to Social Security, receive what's called a BPQY report on what your son is receiving, and then we would sit down together, or we could have a conversation over the phone to determine what plans or options he has for that. Is he receiving his diploma? That would be my question.
No diploma is the answer to that.
Okay.
One other question. What if a student ends up with a $0 nest SSI amount due to work money earned? Will he lose all of his benefits?
That's a great question, and one that really occupies a lot of parents' minds. He will, at a zero balance, he will lose his SSI benefit, but he'll keep his mass health insurance. He will also have an opportunity to buy into the healthcare connector if he's making too much to keep the Medicaid or mass health. He can buy common health, and that's a pretty fair rate. It's usually about $30 or $40, depending on the living situation.
Great. Another question. My son is doing the PETS internship out of the Fitchburg office. He can earn up to $200 a week, but will earn $80 a week for half the summer and $200 for the other half. And I was not at the intro meeting about the internship, but was told it would not affect his SSI.
That's correct. Because he's in the PETS program, he's eligible for the student earned income exclusion I mentioned. You just want to go ahead and make sure that the SSA or the Social Security Administration knows about that. You have your school write a letter saying that he's involved in a work training program, and all his income will be excluded.
Yeah, and she said it sounded as though this internship was exempt from having the deduction that you mentioned earlier.
That's correct. It's part of WEAHO and part of the Innovation Act.
That's great. Kathy, would you mind actually talking a little bit about the PETS program or pre-employment transition services just briefly so people are aware of that?
I can't speak too much to it because there's a lot of information on our website, but basically it's as I mentioned, because of WEAHO, the Mass Rehab, which is a service provider for adults, is now available to work with students while they're still in high school, and we have some great programs available, one of them which is the PETS program, and others for young people to take advantage of.
Okay.
You can find all that information on the Mass Rehabilitation Commission website.
One other thing, sorry, following up from the questions we were just having. So she's wondering if you needed the high school to write a letter. You missed one word you said.
Yep, it qualify for the student earned income exclusion. You just have to let Social Security has to know for sure that your son or daughter is enrolled in a high school or job training program at the school. They must still be enrolled in school under those guidelines I talked about.
Okay, great. Another question. If you lose your benefits because you make too much money, does your case stay open for a period of time so you do not have to go through the application process again if you lose your job?
So if you're out there exploring employment, that's a good thing, and Social Security likes that. So if you are to lose your job, your benefits would start right back up again. You do not have to reapply.
All right. One more question. My son is 18 and just started receiving SSI. 2 months so far. There is a $200 reduction of his max benefit because they say he lives at home and isn't contributing his fair share to household costs. I'm looking for guidance on how to manage this money correctly and how do I show it to SSI. I'm told we can charge him room and board, so do I just move the money from his SSI account, I'm his representative payee, and move it into my husband and I household account?
That's a really great question. Very common concern for parents. I'm going to again mention that there's these, I'm very careful not to answer specific questions like this because everybody's information is different and I don't want anyone to have misinformation. But the good news is that if you can move show SSA or Social Security that your son is contributing to the household, there's a formula they use and they will hopefully take that deduction off and bring his SSI check up a little higher, or his SSI benefit.
Okay.
If you would like to, I can actually explain that more thoroughly to you if you give me a call. I just don't want to give anybody some false information or hope.
Right.
Because I can actually send you a nice paper about it that explains it in detail. So please send me an email or give me a call after this and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Right, and one of the things also is that we will be happy to, I can email everybody afterwards the slides so you can have this PowerPoint via email, and I'll also be emailing you a survey link to this presentation. I think this presentation has been wonderful, but as you can see, sometimes when it comes to Social Security benefits, it is very individualized, and so that's why we wanted to bring that in, really have you access her afterwards for your personal situation. One of the questions also is, what does PETS stand for? That's Pre-Employment Transition Services. I think I'll take one more question just because we still do have some time. How can a parent become a representative payee for their 19-year-old child?
You need to just simply contact Social Security and there's an application process. The important thing to remember, though, sometimes it's misunderstood. Some folks think that they're a rep payee, they're a guardian, or vice versa, and it's really a separate thing. If you're a rep payee, you're only responsible for this with security benefits, no other decisions for that young person.
Great point. Great. Well, as I said, feel free to email us any questions afterwards, or you have Kathy's email right there. And we want to thank you again for joining us on this quick webinar today. So hopefully this information was easy for you to access over your lunch break. Thanks again.